I am literally on 2 hours of sleep because I am so annoyed with Democrats. I am so annoyed with the media, but this took the cake. The editorial board of the New York Times has written an opinion saying that President Biden should leave the race. Do they give an alternative? Absolutely not, because we know that they would have a problem if Kamala was the nominee. We're not going to get a Gavin Newsom. You're not going to get a Gretchen Whitmer. You're not going to get Pete Buttigieg, because none of those people can get the votes that Biden gets. They cannot get the amount of Hispanic vote. They cannot get the amount of black vote needed. They cannot even get the amount of white vote needed. Okay? Let's have this conversation. And they also can't get independents or Republicans, which we know there is a ton of crossover that is happening in order for Biden to be reelected. I am sick of this. But the main thing that really pisses me off about this is that they didn't do this when Trump was indicted. Not 1, 2, or 3, or 4 times. 91 total charges against this man. Not to mention, the man was found guilty of, like Biden said, molestation. He raped E. Jean Carroll. But they couldn't necessarily charge him criminally for it because it was so long ago. Not to mention, his company has done fraud. Nothing from the New York Times. But now, and let's go there. He got convicted. The man was convicted. He's a convicted felon. And they didn't even say this. But, oh my God, Joe Biden had a terrible night at the debate. So let's let him go. But you're not calling for Donald Trump to do the same thing. So that tells me you're in the bag for Donald Trump. And that's some bullshit.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So it seems that another front on the battlefield of the Democrat Civil War has opened up due to this ongoing debate about whether or not Joe Biden should drop out of the presidential race following his disastrous debate performance against Trump on CNN, okay, in front of millions of people, tens of millions of people, a global audience. Biden not only humiliated himself, but he humiliated this country. He humiliated the Democrat Party. He humiliated the American people. And now Democrats are calling for him to step down. And that is pissing people off. Now, this is a big deal because the Democrat Party is deeply divided already. And we've seen the politics of the division play out here recently with Jamal Bowman being removed from Congress, or voted out of office to be more accurate. But again, it has to do with the pro-Israel faction of Democrat Party versus the pro-Gaza, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas faction of the progressive Democrat Party base. Okay, that issue in and of itself was the Achilles heel of the Democrat Party. Okay, it still is. But now you have a new frontier in which a war is being fought, in which, again, you have Democrats that want Joe Biden to stay in versus Democrats that want Joe Biden to drop out. And there's a lot of division and a lot of arguing over this because some people believe that Joe Biden should stay in no matter what and that he should not be replaced, especially if you're not going to replace him with Kamala Harris. And then you have other Democrats that say, you know what, we should throw away the whole ticket, okay? Just throw away the whole ticket, okay? Because Biden and Kamala are both extremely unpopular, okay? So unpopular that, you know, Biden got protested as he was in the Hamptons raising money, okay? Schmoozing with rich people. He got protested with signs of people saying, hey, we love you, but it's time for you to drop out, right? It's time for you to step down.
President Biden is said to be having a, I'm quoting now, campaign meeting with his campaign co-chair in the Hamptons. It comes amid a growing chorus from concerned Democrats for Biden to end his reelection bid against former President Donald Trump following a disastrous debate on CNN Thursday night. CNN's Arlette Sain joining us.
President Biden right now is in the Hamptons, where he's attending 2 fundraisers. One of those was a small, more intimate gathering with high-dollar donors. He's moving on to a second. And according to the reporters who were traveling with the president, as the motorcade was winding through the Hamptons, there were some signs that said, "Please drop out for U.S." Another one that said, "We love you, but it's time." It's not clear if President Biden saw any of these signs himself, but it kind of paints the picture of some of the pressure that he is facing at this moment.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, again, this is coming as White House aides are coming out to the media and admitting that Biden is only dependably engaged a few hours a day. So what you have here is a slow-moving coup against Joe Biden, right? That's being attempted by some people in the party, while at the same time you have some people, at least in the media, they're saying, oh, well, we think Biden should stay in. You know, I don't think he should drop out. Again, there's a lot of back and forth here, but the aides that have actually worked around Joe Biden are now coming out and telling the truth about how he is behind closed doors. Now, again, this is after the media was boo-hoo-whining and crying about the Wall Street Journal, who basically came out with the same story saying that, yeah, this guy Biden, you know, he ain't too good, okay, behind closed doors. And the media cried about it, claimed that it was fake news, misinformation. Now, we have this story here, again, that has been leaked to Axios. Two White House aides told Axios that President Joe Biden has a window of about 6 hours during which he is dependably engaged and not as absent-minded, slack-jawed, or prone to miscues. The 81-year-old candidate, who would be 86 before leaving a second term in office, has faced questions about his age, competence, and stamina throughout the campaign. His performance in Thursday's CNN presidential debate with Donald Trump sparked a huge wave of concerns within his own party, as MSNBC's Joy Reid noted just after the debate ended about whether he would be able to compete and win in November. Okay, so again, you have a whole bunch of liberals who are coming out and, you know, basically destroying Joe Biden, calling for him to drop out, saying that he can't do it. Like, for example, Bill Maher talked about this. He discussed this on his show last night.
Now, I don't want to show a lot of the tape from last night because it's too hard to look at. But just show this one thing. We picked out one thing. Just for people who don't watch, and they watch this show to catch up on the news, this is what the Republicans are going to show from now until Election Day.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
You see the head, the way he turned that head? He wanted to. He knew the two-shot would be up there. He wanted to have his head turning like, let's watch the guy show how crazy he is. He's looking for it. Look, this election.
You're blaming that on Trump?
No, I'm watching his theatrical ability. He is playing this.
Okay, but he didn't have to do anything. I mean, he came out. It reminded me of when Mike Tyson used to knock guys out in 90 seconds. Like, that was like 2 minutes into the debate, and I went, oh, this election is over. I mean, that was like a haymaker, right?
Look, I'm watching the guy. He is so fast on the trigger. I watched him. He comes up with, well, he pulled out of Afghanistan in a disastrous way. That's true. He didn't fire anybody. He didn't fire Jake Tapper or any of the generals. That's all true. Then he'll throw in, oh, by the way, illegal people can get Medicare and Social Security. No, they can't. He just throws in the lies. He mixes up the lies with some truth.
Yeah,
Then Obama, I'm sorry, Biden is not smart enough to keep up with him. He just can't keep up with him.
Well, isn't that the whole point?
Yeah.
You need a guy to keep up with him.
Yeah, again, Joe Biden's getting roasted all over the place, okay? Everybody is roasting him. Anybody with two eyes that can see are roasting Joe Biden. They know that this guy, he's done, okay? He's completely 100% done. And hey, this is why the DNC, the elites, are holding a meeting to discuss what they're going to do moving forward. How are they going to deal with the issue of Joe Biden.
Our team's just been able to confirm that the Democratic National Committee is holding a call. It should be happening now or starting any moment now to talk about sort of the path forward. And that really is in the sense of reassuring all the leadership, both at the state level, at the national level, and all the lower levels that they're all on the same page. That as we understand from a Biden campaign official, there will likely be Biden campaign officials participating in this. And this is something that the campaign wanted to do to continue communicating with the larger party apparatus. We have to remember that we talk often about the Biden-Harris campaign, but really this is a coordinated Democratic Party effort across the country that we see happening, obviously with the Biden-Harris campaign at the top, but also there are state races, there are congressional races, there are local races where the campaigns sort of touch and share resources and finances and things of that sort. So this call, as we understand it, is something that would allow for the Biden campaign, the DNC leadership, state party officials to get together and have a conversation about what's happening and about their desire to move forward. We know that the Biden campaign has said the debate on Thursday night wasn't the performance that they wanted to see the president have, but everybody at the Biden campaign is really talking about the reality of we're moving forward. The president is going to continue to fight. As the president said, when you get knocked down, you get back up. And that's what the campaign is doing and messaging and encouraging other members of the party to do.
Yeah. So what you're seeing here is that the Biden campaign is essentially trying to say, no. We need to stop arguing. We need to stop going back and forth with each other. Biden is still going to run, okay? Because Jill said that he's still going to run, right? Jill has not made the decision to pull Biden out of the race yet. So therefore, he's still going to run, okay? And I think that's probably what's happening here. I think Jill Biden is like, no, Joe is not going to step down, right? I still want to be president, okay? This power is too much for me to give up, okay? Because somebody's running the country. It just ain't Joe Biden, okay? It could be Jill, right? And that could be the reason why Jill is saying no, right? Joe's going to stay in the race. But anyways, yeah, Biden, again, is being met by protests, right? Protesters are saying, yo, you have to drop out. You are too old. Again, this is hilarious. I am loving how the media went from, oh, this is not a problem, to acknowledging not only that it's a problem, but that Joe Biden needs to drop out, right? Can you guys imagine 24 hours, right? One debate made the liberal media do a full 180 on this topic of Joe Biden and his mental fitness. It is truly fascinating. This was a historic moment that should be studied, right? We should study this in universities. How the media flipped overnight after gaslighting the American people on Biden's mental condition.
Our Democratic leaders are publicly backing President Biden amid calls for him to step aside. But what would replacing Biden as the presumptive nominee look like? Here's CNN's Tom Foreman.
Primaries have been held. Delegates committed. President Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. Short of a true health crisis, about the only way he loses that slot is if he agrees to step aside. His stumbling debate performance against former President Donald Trump, however, has fueled calls for him to do just that.
On the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
But even then, the process of replacing him would be full of uncertainty. Democrats could work it out at their convention in August, the way political parties used to. Various names would be put forward, and most likely the more than 3,900 delegates from across the country would discuss, debate, and eventually decide on a new candidate. Almost all of them right now are currently pledged to Biden and approved by his campaign. But if they can't agree, if it gets really nasty and grinds on, well, then maybe the additional 700 superdelegates, deep-seated party insiders and elected officials, could be key to settling the matter. They normally can't...
AKA a coup, right? This is what they're going to do, right? They're going to do a coup against Joe Biden.
Vote on the first ballot for president if it would change the nomination, but they can vote on subsequent ballots. But that scenario raises questions, too. Would voters who took part in primaries feel pushed aside and alienated from the party if a new nominee was chosen? Would a new choice be able to mount an effective campaign in the roughly 10 weeks from the end of the convention until Election Day? And who would be the choice? There are several big names that could likely be considered, but not until the party decides how it feels about Vice President Kamala Harris. Plenty of Democratic voters and party leaders would see her as the natural heir to the nomination, and if she is not chosen,
her disappointed supporters could also become a deep problem for the party in November. For now, Biden's advisors and other top Democrats are pushing back on the whole idea of him dropping out. And according to his team, the president is still looking forward to a rematch with Trump at the next debate in September.
So he's looking forward to getting his butt whooped again. Which this CNN analyst knows. Like, look at her face, bro. Let's listen to this.
All right, let's talk further about all of this now. Lisa Ram is here.
Biden looking forward to another butt whooping, okay? Yeah, so essentially, again, what would have to happen is that there would have to be a coup, like a literal coup against Joe Biden and Kamala, right? Because they don't want Kamala, okay? They don't want Joe, they don't want Kamala, but they're stuck with him because, again, they put Joe forward because they knew that he was an empty suit, okay? He was also the vice president. Kamala, because she's a DEI hire, okay? They want to get the black vote, okay? And look how it worked out. It's an absolute disaster. So now, again, they would have to stage some type of coup at the DNC because it seems as if Joe is not dropping out, right? Joe is choosing to continue to, move forward. However, this is what he's saying out loud behind closed doors. I'm pretty sure that the conversations are probably a little bit different, right? Now, we'll see if Joe will actually fold to the pressure. But even if he folds to the pressure, he drops out. That leaves the question of what are they going to do with Kamala? Is Kamala going to take the reins? I would guess that Kamala would have to take the reins because if Kamala doesn't take the reins, then the pro-black mafia of the Democrat Party will revolt because they will see that as an attack against black women by essentially skipping over Kamala and saying she shouldn't be the successor to Joe Biden, which will cause more problems, right? So we have a full-blown civil war between Democrats and liberals and progressives on multiple fronts now. Okay, this party is collapsing before our very eyes, and it is extremely entertaining. I am here for it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.